Over the last century, global markets have always been dominated by a single currency. Initially, it was the pound sterling, which has now been replaced by the US dollar, accounting for more than 59% of the official foreign exchange reserves. The dominance of the US dollar has been driven by its role as an anchor currency for the lion's share of international trade, making it the most demanded and widely accepted currency. Recently, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has reignited the debate on de-dollarization, threatening to impose a 100% tariff on countries that shift away from using the US dollar in trade. He said, and I quote, "You leave the dollar and you're not doing business with the United States," unquote. His pledge comes amid growing discussions about the global dominance of the US dollar and how countries are exploring alternatives to reduce their reliance on it. The trend of de-dollarization, spearheaded by the BRICS countries, including China, India, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa, has gained momentum in the recent years. These countries are attempting to explore trade in their local currencies, a move aimed at reducing the dependency on the US dollar. However, despite these efforts, the dominance of the dollar remains largely intact, and around 50% of world trade is still conducted in US dollars. India in particular has been pushing forward with its own de-dollarization efforts. The country is increasingly looking to settle international trade in its local currency, the rupee. This move is part of India's broader strategy to strengthen its currency and enhance its global trade standing. In recent years, India has initiated rupee-based trade with neighboring countries like Nepal and Bhutan. Furthermore, Indian refiners have begun paying for Russian oil in dirhams instead of dollars via Dubai-based traders. India has also made significant strides in establishing direct trade settlements in local currencies with the UAE, one of its major trading partners. The two countries signed a free trade pact under the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, in 2022, and later the Local Currency Settlement, or LCS system, in the year 2023. These moves have encouraged bilateral trade in rupees and dirhams, allowing both sides to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. What would be the de-dollarization's impact on India-US trade going forward, and which sectors could be affected the most? Well, textiles and apparel. India exports around $8 billion worth of textiles to the US annually. If Trump's tariff policy is implemented, these products could become more expensive in the US, reducing their competitiveness. This could lower demand, shrink industry growth, and affect jobs in India's textile sector. Apart from textiles, IT services. Indian IT companies like TCS, Infosys, and Wipro generate significant revenues from the US, with exports valued at $150 billion annually. Tariffs could raise business costs in the US, impacting operations. Tightened visa policies may also hurt India's IT exports. Apart from that, pharmaceuticals. India supplies over 40% of generic drugs used in the US, with exports exceeding $7 billion. Tariffs could make these drugs more expensive and less competitive, potentially affecting jobs and research investments in India's pharmaceutical sector. Diplomatic and economic relations too could be impacted. India's de-dollarization efforts may strain economic and diplomatic ties with the US, seen as a challenge to the dollar's dominance, and this could affect strategic partnership and defense deals as well.